Hello, and thanks for joining us today. We're here to talk about the AI-driven future of creative operations. My name is John Stedick, and I'm the Chief Product Officer of Ziflow. For today's conversation, we're going to meet Kim. Kim's a creative operations lead, and she looks pretty happy. So why is that? Well, it's because she's implemented Monday.com for creative operations. This allows her to streamline a lot of her processes from project intake to creative briefing to resourcing to being able to create and track her projects, all to be able to get her projects completed and released, producing great content, great marketing campaigns, great communication plans, being able to really take things from right from the inception through to completion. But there's a bit of a gap here, and one that we hear from almost every customer. How do you manage feedback on the actual content? In the create and track stage, iterations can explode. Monday can handle quick, simple feedback at scale, but across phases, teams, and asset types, things start to break down. And this leaves Kim at a bit of a puzzle point. She runs into some challenges. There's too many stakeholders to chase. Campaign level visibility is hard. Regulatory compliance adds complexity. Late reviews delay timelines, and assets get scattered across multiple tools. So the solution is online proofing, and that's where Ziflow can really help Kim. We've solved the chaos with this online proofing capabilities that is centralized, collaborative, and automated. What do we mean by that? So centralized, all of your assets and versions and comments and statuses are all in one place, bringing all the people, both internal teams and external clients, to the same review. And automating that through automating your proof routing, triggers for approvals, and enforcing deadlines, and integrated directly into your creative tools and project systems. So once you have your online proofing in place and integrated with your work management, something pretty amazing happens. You get to let your content flow. And that's our mantra at Ziflow. What does that really mean? It means your creative process becomes more fluid. You can produce content faster, collaborate with more people seamlessly, and align both the creative vision and the business objectives without friction. In other words, with online proofing, you're not just managing content, you're letting it flow freely through your entire creative ecosystem. And here's the best part. Ziflow powers Monday.com's proofing add-on. Most review work can happen without ever leaving Monday. Let's see how Kim manages her review process and how proofs are created, reviews, approved, and tracked in a single integrated workspace. So we're in the familiar interface of Monday.com, and I've got a number of tasks that my production team needs to create. So I've got a print ad here that needs to be created. So one of my designers can just easily upload a file and add as many files as they want. You're not really constrained to any file types or sizes. In this demo, I'm just going to add a single file just for the sake of efficiency. I can name that file really whatever I want. And while that's happened, that file has been uploaded to Ziflow. I can choose different workflow templates that I want. In this case, I'm adding a client review template. And so this is now taking me through a number of stages. Or maybe I need to have multiple stages that branch out, and I've got art director and legal compliance that can run in parallel. Ziflow gives you a lot of flexibility as to how you can actually structure your review process itself. I can even add checklists within that process, and I can have different checklists for each stage. I can create custom properties assigned to the proof to give me lots of metadata associated with my asset itself. So now that I've got the proof all configured, I'm ready to go and it's uploaded, and that's going to kick off the review process. So now that proof is created, as we're going through the process, there's a bunch of magic that's happening in the background. So that proof is being connected to the actual task in Monday.com. All the status information is being updated, so you can see the proof status is now in progress. The active stage has started. This is a brand and marketing. We're on version 1 and when the next deadline is. All of this information is kept everything now in sync, all in a completely automated fashion, really showing a lot of the power of the integration between Ziflow and Monday.com. So now we can see that the proof is actually in its in-proofing status, and so it's moved into the in-proofing section of our table. I can review that ad by looking through the review button, or I can actually do it right within Monday itself. So here we see, here's all the assets that need review that are attached to that Monday board. You can see we've got a checklist on the side here. So we can see there's got to be a single logo. Yep, that looks good. I'm going to check that one off. I can see that, oh, there's a product insert here. It looks like I need to have an accent color stroke around the edge of that. Well, that didn't work. So I'm going to actually fail that check. So I'm going to just make a note of that. And here's something that the designer needs to change. Again, this is the reviewer taking a look at the assets and providing their feedback, all right within Monday.com. They can continue through the rest of the checklist, checking off are there speller and grammar changes. It says pay time, whereas it should be playtime. So you really get a sense of that there's some mistakes in here that need to be fixed. So we're going to mark that as needs changes. You'll see now in Monday, that task is marked as requires changes, which will then move the proof to get some changes done by the designer themselves. So while we're waiting for the designer to update the designs in that one asset, let's take a look at some of the video review capabilities just to show how Ziflow can really do a lot with all sorts of different types of assets. In this case, I've got a video review. I'm actually seeing that, oh, there's been some changes made from the previous version that I have. I can turn on auto compare. I can play those videos together in parallel. And so see what the changes have actually been made and see if this new version actually meets the changes that I actually asked for. So not only are we able to review the initial asset, of course, we're able to review the next version of the asset and really any type of asset. We'll see these changes look good. So now I approve this and I'm all done. So now I've done lots of reviewing across lots of different types of assets without ever leaving Monday.com. There's really four key aspects within that demo. You got to see a lot there. The first capability is workflow templates. Instead of every creative figuring out who needs to approve what, you can define repeatable workflows up front. Then when it's time to review, a designer or the creative simply selects the right workflow and launches it. No guesswork, no chasing approvals, just clear structured process that ensures the right people are always involved. The next is having rich review tools to review every kind of creative asset. PDFs, videos, websites, animated banners, anything you can produce. You can review and approve in Ziflow. It's not limited to just one file type. You get a full set of annotations and collaboration tools designed for the realities of today's creative work. The third capability is visibility. Creative ops often struggles to get a campaign level view and see how assets fit together across channels. Ziflow solves this by giving you views where everything can be organized and visualized and commented on in one place. Think of it as your virtual pin board for campaigns where every asset is visible, connected, and ready for feedback. Finally, Checklist brings consistency and compliance. At high scale or in regulated environments, you need reviews to happen in a repeatable, auditable way. With Ziflow, you can define multi-stage checklists, assign them to different reviews, and capture the proof of what was checked, what passed, and what failed. This gives creative ops confidence that every requirement is met every time. So that's today's foundation. We talk a lot about automating the proof management and routing and integrations, but how can AI make that even faster? We already automate routing and proofing capabilities. Now our new review AI capability takes on the review itself. So let me just quickly walk you through what that looks like at a high level, and then we'll take a demo look at it. So let's say you've got version 1 of an asset, and this is leveraging our review AI for checklist capability. So we have an asset here. This is version 1. It gets uploaded to the system. Review AI can then look at the checklists applied to that and actually run a check. Does it meet the brand colors? Is this the right logo to use? Is there a disclaimer? Oh, I see there's no disclaimer. So Review AI can fail this proof. So the designer can then go and create version 2, add in the disclaimer. Review AI runs those same checks again. Everything looks good and Review AI passes it. So that's some pretty exciting capability that takes a lot of work out of a reviewer's hands and be able to automate more of it. Now, let's take a look at Review AI for change verification, which is a new feature that we're working on, where what you're able to do now is take a look at version 2. Now it goes through some human review. There's some feedback here on the creative side of things. Let's add a sun. Let's make the logo larger. So then the designer goes and makes those changes. This is now on version 3. The same automated checklist is able to be run, check that everything is still applicable and nothing has regressed. Then the last check that's done is a change verification, a process that can take a lot of time in a review process where now each of the commenters want to know, is their feedback applied? So Review AI can look at the difference between version 2 and version 3 and then decide, hey, have those changes actually been implemented, taking a lot of time out of the review process. So let's jump into a demo here and see Review AI live in action. So I'm going to bring up my print ad. In this case, I'm just going to click the review button and actually pop open the dedicated Ziflow proof viewer. And I'm going to run Review AI. So now, instead of me having to manually go through this checklist, I'm using AI to actually do the check for me. You can see the check results start to come in as AI is now decided and bringing a suggested result on whether those checks should pass or fail. So we take all of that data and the assets, feed that into an AI model, and it actually assesses whether these checks should pass or fail. So let's take a look at some of the results. If you recall from our last demo, the product insert, you can see that it's actually failed this just like the human failed it. So it's missing this accent color stroke, exactly the same problem. And so now we can take that, we're gonna manually accept that and saying, yeah, it should fail, put in a comment and actually mark specifically what do we want to do about it. We're actually working on having suggested comments as well. So AI will start to actually add the comments for you automatically. Let's take a look at the spelling and grammar check as well. Did it find that pay time versus play time? And sure enough, it did. And it detected what it actually should be. So now we can, again, fail that. And we'll make a quick markup on where these changes need to go. So what you've really done here is sped up a lot of the review process in checking what you need to be looking for. AI can actually just go do that review for you specifically. Take a look at the rest of these checks, accept all of these, and I can then make my decision that, hey, there's some changes that actually need to be made here. So I'm going to make a decision, mark these as changes required, and then I can jump back into the Monday interface. So that's how you see how the review can be done with AI, greatly reducing part of the review process itself. So now let's take a look at what happens when we have a new version of a proof to be reviewed. So our designer here can go in and just say, create a new version and just simply drag and drop the updated version right into the proof creation screen. It's going to apply all the same settings, who needs to review, all the checklists are all there, and we're ready to review. So it makes it very easy for your designers to add in new versions. You can do that right through Monday through drag and drop, or you can even do it through Creative Tools plugins that we have for both Adobe and Figma to be able to just streamline the asset creation process. So we've got our new version here, and let's actually now use some of that compare capabilities. Let's kick off the review AI on the second version, but then take a look at some of these compare changes tools that we have. So we can flip on the compare changes here, and actually let's just put that into light mode, and we can actually blink these differences so we can greatly see what's changed between version 1 and version 2. So we've got a bit of an overlay so we can see where the highlights are. You know, the images or the logo's been moved and different graphics have changed. So let's just zoom in here into some of these checks that are actually coming in here. We can take a look at the legal copy. So on the previous version, this was missing the legal copy. So we can see that that actually exists now. So we can zoom in and actually keep these two versions in sync. And we can see, oh yeah, this is all good. This is actually in place. So let's turn off that old version and just take a look at all the assets that we have. So you can see all the checks are coming back as passed. So we're in good shape here. So we're ready to say, yep, I'm going to approve the decision and I'm completed. So now I've really accelerated the review process, especially when it comes to looking at second versions, because if everything's passing, then I'm good to go for a quick approval. So that was great. You really got to see Review AI in action. And that was in a simple scenario. Let's put this into a bigger context of a real life case study. So one of our customers is a large Fortune 500 technology company. They operate global events around the world and some of the largest technology user conferences in the world. This organization's got over $500 billion in annual revenue. So we're talking about large scale here. So their brand team, and specifically the events team, leverages Ziflow to review all sponsorship content. What we did was, by adding Review AI to their process, we reviewed over 2,000 assets in an automated way, delivering automatic approval on 70% of those assets. Then 30% of those assets can be sent for human review. So we took out 70% of assets that needed to have a human actually touch it, doing it at a 98% accuracy rate. And our customer here really found that the Review AI's intelligence in spotting and flagging these issues in visual assets was really impressive and made their reviews more efficient than ever and streamlining their overall proofing process. So this is a journey that we're on to get to fully autonomous reviews. Obviously, having checklists and review AI work together where review AI can work through those checklists is a key component of that. So the first step, obviously, is you need to have some checklists. Those can be executed manually, so you have a process as to what you actually want to check. Then you can use review AI as an assistant to run those checks for you and give you suggested results as to whether it passes or fails. Then over time, as those checks get smarter and they become more reliable, you're able to then automate more of your process where you can have review AI actually make the decisions for you on checks that it has evolved and you feel confident is always making the correct decision on it. So we're on stage two and now moving quickly towards stage three and delivering autonomous review AI. So what's unique about Monday.com and Ziflow put together? So within proof management, you get flexible file management. So you can add files freely without size limitations of asset types or constraints in the Monday.com file column. You get seamless versioning. You can create new versions directly in Monday.com without needing to jump into different tools. And your creative teams can quickly review or update proofs right from their creative tools, such as Illustrator or Figma or Photoshop or InDesign. You get effortless proof sharing. Share proofs instantly from the item view. Since all of the proofs are linked into Monday.com items in your projects, your reviewers can quickly search or browse for any of the proofs that they need to review. In the proof viewing side, you get quick proof status insights. So you can access key proof details at a glance without opening each individual proof. You provide a unified review experience for all of your reviewers. And then, of course, the foundational integration gives you a simple setup with full scalability. So it works across any board or project with minimal setup, replicating all of your proofs into a common proofs board while also connecting each proof to one or more Monday.com items when needed. This gives you complete proof visibility. So the key proof details are available in items with using mirrored columns. It's customizable and expandable. You can easily add more proofing data when needed. It also gives you Monday.com dashboard flexibility because you can create tailored dashboards to fit your workflow. So in summary, Ziflow integration with Monday.com makes proofing faster, easier, and more collaborative, all while keeping users inside their workflow without unnecessary navigation or cross-referencing hassles. And so Ziflow powers Monday proofing, but now Review AI supercharges it, delivering faster approvals, fewer versions, and consistent quality. Across millions of assets for customers, brands like McDonald's or Toyota, Sephora, Goldman Sachs, Amazon, and agencies like Tag, DDB, Hogarth, great companies across a range of industries, many who are also Monday.com customers, Ziflow helps marketing and creative teams handle the explosion of content needed to stand out in the market and connect with their customers. In fact, Ziflow users report 60% less time managing review and approval workflow, 30% fewer versions to final approval, which can lead to more than a 2 times faster campaign delivery by shrinking review and approval cycles and eliminating rework. So, just like Kim and her team, you can let your content flow. Talk to us today, visit our website, follow up with your Monday.com rep, or book a meeting directly with us. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help your team get more from your Monday.com investment. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of the virtual show.